All right. Thank you for tuning in. It is the #1 podcast. I am your host, Coach Jake. And I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about today. Today, we're going to talk about this concept that I don't know. I just made it up, but it's just to get to the point. Identity design. Okay. There is one of the smartest guys of the 20th century and into the 21st century. His name was, hey, what's up, David? His name is Thomas Szasz. Passed away a few years ago. He was what I think the best way to bill him was he was the rebel psychiatrist. Okay. He stood and he held the practice of psychiatry's feet to the freaking fire. All right. He was brutal. And because he was right, that most of it's bullshit. Okay. Now, he has a wonderful quote, a couple of them, especially with regards to identity. I spend most of the day in a workshop getting clarity for my business, and it had me thinking about identity. Okay. So here it goes. The quote, there's a couple quotes I'd like to cover by Szasz, and I'm doing them from memory, so don't get too crazy on me. Okay. So what's up, Augustinian Alexander? So there's a quote about identity. Thomas Szasz says, he has a couple of them I think are great. He says that identity is not something that you find. Identity is something that you create. Identity is not something that you find, but it's something that you create. Okay. And I think that's in response to all these people that are always saying like, oh, I got to go find myself, or, something to that of that nature. So identity is something that you create. So I wonder how much you have actually taken responsibility for that in your own life, right? Have you actually taken it upon yourself to create your own identity, or do you take the identity foisted upon you by media, government? Do you identify yourself by the check boxes on a fucking government form? Which I'm just going to be real. That's really fucking sad if you do, because my identity does not fit in any of those fucking check boxes. Shit, my race don't. Anybody who's done 23andMe knows that there ain't no purebreds out there, man. Everybody's mixed. I got fucking Neanderthal, African, and Asian in me, and I look white as hell. All right. So there's no checkbox for that, right? Where's the 2% Asian, 1% Neanderthal, 1% Asian or African, and Irish and Mexican and Dutch and German checkbox? Okay. So fuck off with that shit. Start defining your own identity. Don't let somebody else define it for you. Okay. This is actually where I am a little bit sympathetic to these people about, gender is a construct. They get stupid with it. I mean, dude, there are men and women, biologically speaking. Let's not get crazy, and let's not fuck up the Olympics by having, men that had surgery go compete against women, because we see what's happening. It's fucking stupid. It's fucking unfair. It is. It's like, if you're a woman hater, that's definitely like in line with that, right? So, along the line with that, with Thomas Szasz, I got 3 quotes. Okay. So identity is something that's created. You don't find your identity, you create it. Okay. And you need to take responsibility for that, because if you're not creating it, somebody else has, and you're not being critical about it. You need to sit down with a pen and paper and write that out. Figure out what your identity is. Okay. The other quote that I love from him that is relevant is that the battle for the world, this used to actually be the banner for my old radio show, Mental Self-Defense Radio. I gave Thomas Szasz's very last in-depth radio interviews, which is something I'm personally proud of. You probably don't even know who the fuck he is, but he is like a huge hero of mine. Just such a brilliant guy with so much integrity, and stood alone in the face of an onslaught of so many people trying to criticize him. And all he had was critical thinking, and he defeated them all. He's been vindicated. He's like a genius. Okay. And anyway, so he had another one that I like. It says, the battle for the world is the battle for definitions. The battle for the world is the battle for definitions. So this goes along with identity. Do you define who you are, or do you let somebody else define who you are, right? And the last one is, he said, in the animal kingdom, the rule is eat or be eaten. In the human kingdom, it's define or be defined. Okay? So I'm curious how, and you can hit me up in the chat. You can, whatever, however, that's the only way we can really communicate here. But I'm curious, like, to what extent have you examined the way that you define yourself? Is it truly something you have thought out and hammered out and gone over on paper over and over again to create the identity? Or have you just taken the identity on, maybe it was your mom, maybe it was your dad, they said you were dumb, maybe it was a brother or sister said you were stupid, or they said you were smart. I don't know. But have you actually done the work to figure out what your identity is? That's the question today. That's what I want to know, right? Because I think it's important. I literally spent 8 hours today going over it was a clarity workshop, so I could really narrow down like what it is I do. Now, here's the thing. You may have, now don't fuck up my words here. You may have multiple identities. I don't mean like dissociative identity disorder, multiple personality shit. Okay. I don't really know that that's even real. I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of skeptical that that's even real. I know there's documented cases, but how they fucking know that the person isn't lying, or it's a difficult thing. Okay. I'm sympathetic to people that might have problems. I'm not saying people don't have problems, but is that actually some sort of thing? I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that. I remain agnostic about it. I'm totally not sold. It's the other way of putting it. But we all have different identities. And okay, so I just asked you, if you've actually taken it upon yourself to design your own identity. And in that was an assumption that there's only one identity. There you have many, many identities, right? So you might have one identity or definition of yourself when you're speaking with your family or your friends or your husband or your wife, your spouse, or your kids or your boss. Do you know how you're kind of a different person depending on the situation, right? When you're doing your hobby or your passion versus doing your day job. So I would challenge you to sit down with a pen and paper and define yourself. First and foremost, I would define myself to myself. Who am I? Who am I? What do I stand for? What do I believe? What are my experiences that have led me to believe that? Okay? So what is your identity to yourself? And what is your identity professionally? Right? So I would love to hear from you guys. I know we got a bunch of people out in the chat. For me, I define myself. Now, today, that workshop, I was working mostly on defining myself in a professional standpoint, right? In particular, I have a couple different identities professionally as well. And so I was really focusing in on my scientific wrestling business, right? Because I'm scaling that company. I've set upon myself an enormous challenge, which I do all the time. Again, 10xing to reach every man, woman, and child and get them involved with the sport of catch as catch can wrestling as either a fan, athlete, coach, or a promoter or business person. That's huge, man. There's like 8 billion people on the planet. That's a lot of people, man. Okay. So that is the undertaking that I have set upon myself. So I need to scale. And to do that, I needed to get very concise in my messaging. So I can tell you some of the stuff that I worked on today, if you're interested. Oh, Augustinian Alexander says, I think there's a Japanese saying that everyone has three faces. They're public, they're private, and their self face. Okay, I think that's probably true. I might say there's more than three, but those are certainly three, right? So you have your who you are in public, and then you have who you are in private. So I'll read you the bio that I hammered out today. See what you think of it. Now, again, this is only for my, I actually have multiple ones. So bear with me. I'm going to read them out. Okay, so here's one bio, my first draft. A master at coaching people in both business and grappling. Since 2003, he and his team have taught thousands of athletes worldwide and generated millions of dollars in revenue through scientificwrestling.com. In 2007, he invented the Mace Bell and with it, the modern Mace fitness movement. He earned a Master of Science in Financial Engineering in 2002 and has scaled startups to over $1 million in revenues. Okay, that's one bio. That was one take, one way of me trying to define myself in one context, right? So you're going to have different identities in different contexts. Does that make sense? But I think this is a useful exercise. I made up 3 different definitions for the same context because I want to see which one resonates the most with people, because I have my own, as Augustinian Alexander was saying, I have my own personal identity of who I am or who I think I am. And then other people maybe have a perception of who I am. And I need to maybe find the one that I think that matches, you know what I mean? That resonates with everybody, that's harmonious. So the second one I have, a former professional financial mathematician and professional wrestler who learned both business and wrestling from legends. With an advanced degree in analytics and having apprenticed with the world's very best, Jake understands the science of both wrestling and business. As a coach and promoter, he's helped athletes all around the world. That's just another one, okay? Yeah, Alexander, it's like when you edit your resume for certain jobs. Exactly. So you're presenting a certain identity. Hopefully that's true, because, if you get the job, they're going to fact check you. Or if in my case, you're a business owner or a public person, which I really hate that idea because it somehow people think it opens you up to fucking shit that I don't stand for. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. But anyway, that's beyond the point. Again, I'm not allowing other people to define me when I say that I'm being public about something. Anyway, it is the context. You're right. So you want to make sure that because your reputation matters. That's why I've been able to do what I've been doing for over 20 years. Is that I've been actually doing these, delivering it, and getting the testimonials and the proof and the evidence, right? So it's a complicated situation because, I could say I identify as a fucking cat, right? We're going through that right now, right? Where some people are getting so crazy on this shit. Oh, I identify as my cat self, my meow self, or some shit. I mean, okay, that is like fucking ridiculous, okay? Because there's no way to provide evidence of that. In fact, you can find contrary evidence to that. Hey, what's up, Kaiju Wrecking Machine? What's up, bro? Good to see you, man. Have a good time in grappling, dude. Go throwing down some fucking cradles and Nelsons. Use them as setups for submissions. Try it, dude. It's fucking sick. All right. Anyway, as I was saying, I'll give you the third one. This one's a little longer. I don't like it as much, but you've got to experiment with these. Okay. Jake Shannon is the founder of Scientific Wrestling, a company devoted to improving grappling literacy and performance. He's been featured in Black Belt Magazine, mentioned on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast a couple times, invented the fitness mace movement and revitalized the entire sport of catch-as-catch-can wrestling. Jake's practical methods help fight gyms grow and scale their businesses with the hottest, most exciting grappling solution of all time, scientific wrestling. That's actually pretty good, man. I don't know. Shit. It's going to take me a minute to figure that one out. Which one I like better, right? So anyway, I was working through that. That would be like my bio, okay? But then you can also have kind of a personal brand, if that makes any sense. So, you know, in terms of branding it, I came up with, I help fight gyms make more money through an accelerated affiliate program with an amazing grappling curriculum so they can earn a fantastic ROI doing what they love, assuming that that's running a gym and teaching people how to win in the sport of grappling. So, you know, what is how do you do? Now that's like my public professional identity that I spent a long time working on. Okay. I have other ones that I use for various purposes, right? One that I was looking at today, I'm the go-to solution for business leaders that suffer from anemic revenues. I help people collapse time so they become freer faster. Just fooling around, right? Now, this is also what I go through when I am coaching clients as well, right? We need to get very firm on what it is that we do and very clear about what is it that you have to offer. Why should people engage with you? Why should somebody hire you? Okay. Now that could be like a job interview. I don't think personally, I think being a worker bee is a dead end situation. I did my best to work a job like I was taught because I'm not old, but I mean, I'm older. I'm going to be 49 this summer in a couple months. And, you know, when I was coming up, that was the deal. Go to high school, go to college, get a graduate degree, get a great job. And I did all that shit. And I don't do nothing with it today because it's all bullshit. The reason is life changes, man. And when you have institutions like public education and even higher education, which is largely subsidized by government and stuff, they're not very responsive to change. And so while the job markets have radically changed, everything's been Uberized and Zoomed, but the structures, the pedagogical or institutions, the institutions of learning have not kept up, right? It's travesty. It's awful. So what are we to do? My solution is to figure out how to live by your wits. Average grappler. I'll hit 49 in June. Yeah, dude. So you're a month ahead of me, dude. I'll be 49 in July. So what? 73, right? It's crazy, dude. I don't feel fucking almost 50. I sure as hell don't act almost 50. I mean, I got the wrinkles, dude. I look like fucking Sharpay. But other than that, I feel pretty good. Yeah. So, you know, I'm just curious, like, how would you use this right now? Use this in the chat as an opportunity. I'll read it. If you don't want to read it, don't put it in the chat, of course. But, you know, how do you identify yourself? Right? 29. Dude, I ain't a fucking boomer. My kids call me a boomer too. I'm Gen X, motherfucker. Get it right. You got to go get on some Wikipedia or some shit. So what are you, a millennial, 29? That's all right, dude. Millennials are awesome. I don't got a problem. A lot of people hate the millennials. I got no problem. That's between you and the boomers, dude. I like millennials. I like Gen Z better, though. Sorry. That's the guys underneath you. Yeah, and so I was, I was working on my branding statement. Here's my branding statement. This is about the new Scientific Wrestler affiliate program. So basically what it is it's like it's an affiliate program for grappling, for fight gyms, right? So let's say that you own, I don't know, it could be an MMA gym, because that's where I found most success is MMA gyms love our stuff because we don't really have belts or anything. We don't give. It's more like what we teach is more like boxing. There's not fucking belts in boxing except championship belts, right? So, but it's grappling. We're like a prize fighting oriented grappling system in catch can scientific wrestling. So this is a curriculum that I've worked on, co-developed with Billy Robinson. I took a lot of information and technique in my mentorship with Wade Chalice, as well as Carl Gotch, Dick Cardinal, a lot with Gene LaBelle, and created this system that I've been working on and touring the world for 15 years teaching. I've taught thousands of people this system. Have multiple coaches under me that help teach this through scientific wrestling. So I created this affiliate, and it's basically a business in a box. So like you can affiliate with CrossFit, and you can lean on their branding, right? You could draft behind the brand CrossFit because it's a well-known brand. It's been around for years and whatever, and people will come in. You can do business and actually make a living doing something you love. I've done the same thing, launched it this year, already have 3 affiliates, and I haven't even really started marketing. As you can see, I'm still hammering out the message and whatnot. Have 3 affiliates already. My goal, just so you understand the structure of the program, it's pretty cool actually. So not only do you get like, say you affiliate with, I don't know, we had one guy leave Machado and come and affiliate with us, or you got people like 10th Planet or Gracie Barra or Gracie out of Torrance, or Eric Paulson, who's great, CSW. All these different affiliate programs where you can have affiliate gyms, right? So I do the same thing as they do on one thing. Now, I'm a business development guy, and I'm really good at it. And I have a degree in financial engineering. I'm super creative. I'm a seasoned entrepreneur, very successful in a couple different areas. So, I wanted to make it the best, right? It's called the No1 Podcast. So I got to live up to the brand. So it does everything all those other affiliates do, right? You get a brand house, you get a marketing suite, logos, you get your name at scientificwrestling.com email, you can use the logos, all that kind of stuff, okay? Additionally, you get 2 full paid tuition for our Coaching Catch certification program, which is highly acclaimed, been around since 2007. It was formerly known as the Certified Catch Wrestler Program, has gone through multiple iterations and improvements, is the first of its kind. Most other systems that followed us came up through our system and then ripped it off, tried to. But none of them were co-developed by Billy specifically and can make that claim. So you get 2 of those. Each one of those is $5,000. So that's a $10,000 value right out the gate. $10,000, okay, included, free, 2 of them. Now that takes a couple years to earn the full coach certification, as it should. It's not a rubber stamp. It's difficult. It's challenging. And we only have a handful of guys that have it right now. Average grappler, is that accelerated or completed through the camps? So that's what I'm working on right now. It's mostly through the camps. So basically each camp is worth 25 units. Okay. I think that's what it is. Yeah. It's been a minute since I drafted it all, but each camp, basically what it is it takes 10 camps to reach assistant coach. Okay. And it requires another 10 camps to reach full coach. Now that's not a rubber stamp. You can't just come to 10 camps and then 10 camps and still suck. You have to have basic competency. And so that's why you're there. We're constantly watching you, making sure everything's tight. There are ways that you can accelerate. Let's say you've won some medals in some decent sized tournaments. That will count towards credits that will accelerate you so you don't have to do all 10 camps. We also have online options as well that can be substituted for a couple camps. I'm not a big fan of all online training, or even it's a small portion that's allowed, because wrestling you have to do in person. You have to have the feel. Sometimes there's just slight angles and inches that need to be adjusted. You can't do that on a screen. And sometimes you have to feel things. So you have to be in person for the majority of it. Okay. But you can accelerate through it. Okay. So you get tuition paid for 2 of those certifications. So, okay, first of all, you can make money through the branding, right? You could put a fucking brand on your window, push the hell out of it, sell merch, t-shirts, anything with Scientific Wrestling on it, because you're my partner on that at that level, okay, as an affiliate. That's 1. 2, you can then start teaching classes. You could start teaching seminars. You could start putting out instructional videos, and I will help you. I produced millions of them with high-level names like Wade Chalice. I produced 2 of his sets, well, actually 3, and then like Billy Robinson, Carl. Like I've done a bunch, right? And I can help you. That's the second way you can make money. Seminars, that kind of thing. Now, the third thing that nobody else is doing that I like is resell rights. I have quite a hell of a library. It's been called the Library of Alexandria of Grappling, and that's all the stuff in the instructionals that I've either produced or dug out and got the rights to at Scientific Wrestling. You have resell rights. You get 50% commission on any of those that you sell. That's something nobody else is doing. So you actually have an alternate income stream besides the branding, selling merch or anything like that, or selling lessons or selling seminars. So now you have 3 revenue streams. And then I added a 4th, and that is you get the license to the King of Catch tournaments. So in the same way that our Coaching Catch curriculum was co-designed with Billy Robinson, Coaching Catch Rules is the only one catch wrestling competition. It was the first in 100 years, by the way, too. So number 1 again, but it was co-designed the rule set with Carl Gotch, documented. So this is the Scientific Wrestler Affiliate Program is the undisputed number 1 best leading not only certification program but affiliate program, period. I mean, it's not even second place. Man, we're leaving the solar system. They haven't even left the atmosphere, basically. I mean, honestly, it's just facts. It's not bragging if it's a fact. And then so you could start actually running King of Catch tournaments out of your own gym. It draws a lot of people into your gym, raises awareness, gives you a lot of legitimacy in terms of competition. And the thing that really I think is the benefit, and I touched on this earlier, is that we're like boxing. The only belts that we care about are gold. So, there's some stuff with like IBJJF and whatnot where certain level people can't do certain level things like heel hooks or neck cranks and things. We'll teach a guy at the level at which he's at, not based on some belt system designed to turn you into a cash flow and keep you on the hook for 10 years or whatever before. I mean, we don't care. If you're a D2 or a D1 wrestler and you come in and you're smoking the black belts, dude, you put him on the competition team. Why wouldn't you do that? Why has he got to go through all this fucking bullshit? Right? So anyway, this is my brand message. That I have an exciting grappling solution for fight gyms looking for a tough and accelerated system where the only color belt that matters is gold. Boom. See? But that's because I've taken the time and I sat there all day penciling it out, right? Trying to figure out what the brand was. You can check that out, by the way. Here, let me put this up on the I'll put this up for the YouTubers and LinkedIn and Facebook people. Scientificwrestler.com. Sorry about that. Instagram, I don't have that functionality for you guys, which is really weird, because it's a podcast. I use this solution and it allows me to broadcast live to almost any platform except Instagram. It'd be so nice if I could just do everything at once, but I don't know. And it's weird because I can do it to Facebook, but not Instagram, but they're both owned by Meta. I don't get it, man. Really weird. Anyway, yeah. So long story short, you need to come up with your own personal identity. Now, if I'm maybe writing a book or giving a speech, not to an audience of fight gym people, because that's who my audience was right there. I had to be conscious of the context. Who's my audience? But let's say I'm going into my, I have my company, Thales Coaching, right? So let's say I go to Thales coaching. I'll read you actually, because I've worked on that one too. I should probably have all of these memorized, but I don't. So if I'm doing my business development coaching, I have my master's in financial engineering. I've started, I've scaled several startups to $1 million plus. I invented the mace and the entire fitness mace movement. I've revitalized sport, all that kind of stuff that I use when I'm talking about my leadership and business development consulting. That pitch, that identity is I help leaders devise brilliant strategies, demolish employee disengagement, and grow revenues via proprietary leadership and business development training. Works, right? So, other times I will describe myself, depending on the context, as a family man, because that is part of my identity that I've worked hard, consciously designed. I came from a broken family. My parents divorced when I was 4. My dad got married and divorced 4 times. My mom, I think, 2 times, and then had a long relationship that was basically common law, and then that ended. So they weren't really the models for how to maintain a long relationship. And I've been married, I think, longer than all their marriages combined now to my wife. So we've been together 17 years now, 3 kids. I'm very consciously and decidedly so a family man, right? Doesn't mean I'm perfect. Sometimes I lose my temper. Sometimes I mess up and stuff like that. But, I've really worked hard to make that a priority in my life. In fact, it's my number 1 priority. So, with myself, we were talking about, and Alexander was talking about, you're right, the Japanese public-private self, and one that you don't even admit. But for me, my personal identity to myself is that, I'm a family and businessman, right? That's what I am. Now, to the point, I don't allow somebody else to define me, right? So this is where I started with Thomas Szasz in the beginning. I don't let somebody else define me. So somebody says I'm an asshole. Shit, I don't know. I could be to them, but I don't think I am. I try not to be an asshole. Sometimes I'm an asshole, but sometimes I think people deserve it. So, but my point is I'm not going to let somebody define me. I'm not going to be a checkbox on a fucking government form, right? I don't even really like being a demographic on Facebook, like 49, white, makes X amount of dollars, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I think they really are missing the complexity and nuance and all the different identities in the different contexts, right? So I find it fitting that, Thomas Szasz at the beginning, if you missed it, you can go back and listen to those quotes. I'll try to round them off. Basically, he said that Thomas Szasz was a brilliant thinker, one of the most vocal and brilliant minds in psychiatry in the 20th century. And he had some very interesting thoughts on identity. He said, identity, first, it's not something you find. Identity is something you create. So you have to take responsibility and you have to design it. Okay? Average grappler. I got to schedule that phone call. Dude, do it, man. I fucking post that shit all the time. You know where it is. Come on. Let's get on the phone, dude. Let's blow your shit up. But identity is something that is something you create, not something like I have to go on a trek to find myself. Dude, you're just figure out what you want to be and who you are and stick to it and have discipline and do something about it, right? That's one. The second one is that, Szasz says the battle for the world is the battle for definitions, right? We see that play out in the news, right? So they'll call basically what the big thing is honestly, most of this shit, if you study the informal fallacies of logic, right, which are, like ad hominem, things of that nature, right? What's up, VVV Athletics? Hulk smash. So you're identifying as a Hulk self? Yeah. So a lot of this is just name calling. And this is really where Saz went too, that a lot of psychiatric fucking diagnosis, that's just a fancy fucking word in psychiatry anyway, for name calling. Oh, you're depressed. Oh, you're a schizophrenic. Oh, you're this, that, and the other thing. When there's actually no somatic pathology, nothing you can look at on a blood slide, chemical read, chemistry test, X-ray, no lesion that can be biopsied and looked at under a microscope. It's all just made up because these are behaviors that are difficult for other people, even though they're different. Okay. So anyway, they try, it's this attempt to hook medicalized jargon to things and create labels and stigmas for people, right? So this is what I'm saying. Like, you're not the label. You can define who you are. And that battle for the world is the battle for definitions, right? So that was Saz's second thing that I thought. And he said, in the animal kingdom, the rule is, eat or be eaten. But in the human kingdom, it's define or be defined. So, I think you have to make a conscious effort first to define yourself. Second, to define yourself in all the relevant contexts for the relevant audiences that you deal with. And then third, you have to defend that. You have to be willing to stand up and fight for what you think is right. And you also have to be open to the fact that maybe your definition is not congruent with reality. Okay. So if you identify as a cat or the Hulk or something, you might need a little bit of fucking fine tuning. You're kind of missing the boat there. Like, you're not the Hulk, or you're not a cat. You don't have a meow self type of thing. So, I mean, it's fun to play, right? But if some of these people try to take it real serious, and we see that playing out politically, people trying to play the victim or try to create a narrative around it. And that's fine, but you just need to be aware of it. Okay. So you don't get suckered if somebody's trying to take advantage of you. Okay. Or trying to turn you into a monthly cash flow because they've diagnosed you with ADHD or something, and you need to take this cocaine identical pharmaceutical supplement and turn into a monthly cash flow, right? So this skepticism is healthy. That's a healthy skepticism, no pun intended. It keeps you healthy, right? I talked about this in a prior episode, what I call unhealthy skepticism, or when maybe you just doubt because you just assume everything. You just doubt everything because it's just your go-to strategy and you're lazy and that's all you do is just doubt shit. That's stupid. That's just being a hater or a naysayer. There's nothing good to be done with that, right? So I would challenge anybody that's actually listening to this to sit down with a pen and paper and define yourself in the various contexts and whittle and work on it. Do a little bit of what I'm calling identity design and come up with a few different identities that you feel would be received well, meaning that people would see it and be like, okay, that's congruent with the facts. And you would say that's congruent with the facts. And it's not being foisted upon you by, like a government checkbox or whatever, or somebody calling you name, stupid, lazy, silly, whatever. Anyway, I hope that helps, guys. I've got another long day. Yesterday was a, I always say that being in business for yourself, living by your wits is not 9 to 5, it's 5 to 9. Well, yesterday was like that. I don't think I stopped my broadcast till 10 o'clock last night. And I started at 6. And today I started at 7 today, 7:30. And I probably won't be done until 9:30 or 10 again. So I only say that because it's easy when you find something that you love. When you love what you're doing and you figured out how to offer value to other people doing what you love, you've hit the sweet spot. But that's, I think, where a lot of times people have a hard time. So, I'm here to help you. If I can help you in any way. Of course, we did talk about the Scientific Wrestler affiliate program, right? And I'm still getting that pitch down. But basically, I'm there to help. If you have a fight gym or a martial art dojo or a fitness studio of some sort, I'm there to help you monetize that with the very best martial art grappling sport known to man. That's a quote from Billy Robinson. I believe it wholeheartedly. That's why I've devoted my life to it. catch as catch can, scientific wrestling. I'm here to help you. Okay. We are doing a couple of coaching catch seminars. And we've got 2 left for the spring tour. It's actually kind of bleeding into summer a little bit, but we're going to be out in Pinion Hills. You can fly into the Ontario airport, drive right out to the Pinion Hills Labyrinth Martial Arts Retreat, run by Matt Mullen and his wonderful wife, Mira. It is a really cool place, man. Like, they've got like a full Ninja Warrior course, a giant teepee where they build a fire, and it's like amazing. And they bring live music out and freaking gigantic turkeys that'll kick your ass if they get out. A giant koi pond. It's really neat. It's a neat retreat. And you can actually get bedding there too. So it's like an inn where you can stay there. He's got this incredible like airplane hangar built with the wrestling mats. It's fantastic. That's coming up at the end of May. And then in June, we're going to be out at Arena MMA in San Diego. You got to come out to that. It's going to be kick ass. We're going to have a great time out in San Diego, coach and catch. So, I'm here to help you with that. Now, if you guys are looking to learn for whatever it is you're doing, maybe you're a sales professional. I mean, I'm going to clue you in on something. If you're a human being, you're in sales, right? You got to learn how to sell your wife on going to the dinner place you want to go, or the vacation you want to go on. You got to sell your kids on doing their homework. You've got to sell, period. You want to go out on a date, you got to learn how to prospect, how to qualify leads. It's a general thing that's a skill that most people have no clue. They do not teach this. They don't teach anything fucking valuable in public school, and seldom in higher education. I'm teaching that. You can come to our business boot camp. It's the culmination of my entrepreneurial experience coupled with Grant Cardone's curriculum. You can go to 10xdenver.co. 10xdenver.co. That's at the end of June, very end of June. Actually, the Coaching Catch one, go to coachingcatch.com. That has the July date. Sorry for San Diego. Coaching, the 10x Business Boot Camp, day 1 is on marketing, which is everything that you do to get a lead, right? To get a potential client. Day 1. Day 2 is sales. How you actually close that lead, how you convert that potential person that you've got through marketing into a client. And then day 3 is on scaling. Once you have a business, how do you grow it? Okay. Denver, 10xdenver.co. That's the Denver 10x Business Bootcamp. Go check it out, man. You can see on the video testimonials from the people that came to the last one. Sign up. In fact, if there's 2 different ticket tiers, okay, there's VIP and executive. If you sign up, if you're one of the first 5 people to sign up as a VIP, you get a full month of one-to-one coaching with me on business development. I charge $3,500 a month for that and get it. Okay. I'm just letting you know, this is an insane value. And if you do the executive ticket, okay, which is at a lower price point, you can get in on the coaching, the business coaching I do. And that is a $400 extra value for a month. Okay. Almost 5, like 447. I mean, I guess if you kind of round it, it gets close to 500, but anyway, free for a full month. Okay. Go check it out. And you can see all the other bonuses that you get. 10xdenver.co. That's coming up. Now, of course, if you are interested in engaging with me in a longer contract and instead of just coming out to a weekend, now that Denver 10x, that 10xdenver.co, the 10x Business Bootcamp in Denver that I'm hosting, I'm going to have a bunch of great guests, speakers. I have a real estate mogul who's going to talk to you about how to actually invest in real estate. He's on his way to $1 billion portfolio in the next 5 years. A young man who was a speaker at GrowthCon, Grant Cardone's gigantic business conference, a rock star thing. Young man, he has a company, like 16 or 15. The company's doing like multi-million dollars a year, a software company. He's going to be speaking at my event. You got to check it out. I've got the top 40 podcaster in personal development who's going to come and talk. It's just amazing. It's amazing. Okay. Do yourself a favor. Seriously, go. And that's 6 hours for 3 days. That's 18 hours that's a great way. Super, super efficient money-wise, right? Plus, you don't have to fly all the way out to Florida or any of that where the other boot camps are held. So 10xdenver.co. You can also hook up with me for one-to-one coaching. So I do charge on a sliding scale $3,500 a month if you sign up on a month-to-month contract. If you sign up for a 3-month contract, it's $2,500 a month. And if you sign up and commit to a longer contract with me, like 6 months or longer, it's $1,500 a month. Okay. Guaranteed best ROI, best return on your investment that you can get. Okay. You can go over to No1 Coaching, No1coaching.com, or Thales, Thales coaching.com. I find Thales is, most people can't even pronounce it. They think it's like how Mike Tyson pronounces sales, Thales, but that's not it. So I'll help you out there. If you want help writing a book, I can help you write a book. I've published several. And in fact, I highly recommend it for new or solo entrepreneurs looking to grow and scale their business, their brand, and get out of obscurity and establish yourself as an authority. And that's the name of it, is Authority Coaching, authority-coaching.com. Yeah, so I'm here to help, guys. Holler at me, send me DMs, hit me up. Let's get the communication going, man. Get me on the phone. You can set up a 15-minute call with me anytime. Okay, I'm here to help. That's my job, to serve. So I appreciate you guys. I hope this is okay for you, and I will catch you tomorrow. No1 Podcast. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.